Hello, today I'm going to talk about flowers again. A couple of days ago, just before the holiday, I was visiting finally the Frans Hals Museum in Haarlem. Haarlem used to be the capital of Holland, long time ago. Beautiful city with a lot of museums, beautiful architecture, and of course, flowers on every step. Basically, I wanted to go in the museum. I was planning that for a long time, and it is pretty short distance from Amsterdam where I live. I decided to pamper myself with another visit with my Museumkaart. The thing is that the reason number one was to visit Frans Hals Museum because of old masters and the beautiful collection that I have, and also knowing that some newly restored pieces are there on display. But when I was there, I actually have some extra, and this is what I'm going to talk about today. I never knew before. For example, you cannot see that on their website. I will put that a link below. Frans Hals was a famous painter from golden age of Holland, and he specialized in portrait of people who are nouveau-riche, their bourgeoisie, and they particularly liked how he actually presented people in action. He was one of the first Dutch painters to draw separate portraits of two people who are married. If I'm not mistaken, they call that pendant. So the husband would look on the right side, the wife would look on the left side, and those portraits would be united in their home. Usually showing off for how much money they have, and Frans Hals was the first painter who actually allowed them to smile. And even to make a gesture like holding each other or, you know, embracing each other on the picture, because it was really Puritan society back then, and that innovation I like very much. Second, Frans Hals was famous for painting many militia group portraits, and since he was based in Haarlem, he actually did a lot of very important pictures which are in the museum, some of them restored. But he was, although he was very popular and very famous back then, he was somehow obscured to history, and during the Impressionistic movement, Claude Monet and Manet also like him very much because of the brush strokes that he had, and he didn't focus so much on detail, but he was so skillful that he could really illustrate the movement. Dutch painters visited Holland because of copying his pictures. For example, one of the copies, which is now on display in museum in Haarlem, is Manet's copy of 4 women administrators of the home for elderly in Haarlem. Basically, the museum is in the building which used to be the home for elderly. Elderly in that time meant older than 60 years. They had 5 male administrators who were taking care of money, who were prominent citizens and very active in social life. But also they have 4 Dutch ladies who took care about everyday things, caring for the sick, etc., etc. After that, if I understood well, the institution actually became orphanage, and just across the street was another hospital, I think St. Elizabeth, but I'm not sure. That very well tied community was taking care of elderly, of orphans, and they made institution of that sort of social care, which is very important. The central focus of my visit to museum was discovering some other new big names, new for me, of course, although I'm very interested in art, but I'm not professional. It was Jordaens, who was actually living in Antwerp, and he was contemporary, although younger than Van Dyck. They were called Big Trio in Antwerp. Someone who is interested to know more about Dutch history should know that Antwerp was precursor of Amsterdam, and historically it was the biggest center in the region. before Amsterdam became the big one, with a very tight connection between two cities, and also artists who were active in that time. Jordaens was considered to be the first who got a sense of humor in his allegoric pictures, with a lot of themes from old Greek and antique stories, as well as from Bible. But the main point and surprise that I had there is exhibition of flowers. Keukenhof is pretty close, and they they made several, I think I made photos of at least 10 beautiful arrangements of flowers. When I'm talking about arrangements, I'm not saying bouquet or a flower embellishment. This is in the purest artistic sense, art itself. And I met a lady who was arranging one of beautiful flower sculptures, because it is more than a bouquet. And I just wanted to share with you several photos that I have to enjoy and immerse yourself in what the flower arrangement can look like. This is art per se, and I highly recommend that you visit at least some of the places where I think until the end of May you can see different kind of exhibitions in museums and in public institutions where Keukenhof has a display of what they are able of producing. So I hope you're going to enjoy some of my photos, because I enjoyed that immensely. Look at the combinations of and spatial organization, also, and some small embellishment, because it was just before Easter. I say without words. I think you're going to enjoy those photos. So thank you for listening.